Emotions stand out among the various forces that mold our lives, both for their amazing capacity to affect our well-being and for the enigmatic ways in which they do so. We often lose the capacity to distinguish between good and bad, rational and irrational, and, in the worst situation, between the real and the unreal when we are overcome by strong emotion. Our emotions have the power to drive us to take actions we never would have thought possible, some for the better, but certainly many for the worse. The profound impact of emotions on our lives has been the subject of philosophical, psychological, and even biological inquiry for centuries, and yet they continue to perplex and challenge us in unexpected ways. Among these emotions, anger stands out as one of the strongest and unquestionably most harmful. Anger can take many forms, including rage, resentment, chronic hostility, and hatred. If left unchecked, it can lead to severe personal suffering, harm to our loved ones, and eventually large-scale disaster. History is replete with examples of the destructive potential of anger when it festers within individuals and society. Political movements driven by mass discontent claimed millions of lives in the 20th century, serving as a stark warning of the perils of neglecting our own rage. Events such as the French Revolution, world wars, and various social uprisings illustrate how collective anger, if not properly addressed, can spiral into uncontrollable violence and upheaval. However, not all expressions of rage are inherently harmful or pathological. Anger can occasionally emerge as a justifiable reaction to injustice or pain. Those who do not express anger at what they ought to be angry about are fools, Aristotle once said. This perspective acknowledges that anger, when harnessed constructively, can serve as a catalyst for positive change and social justice. Throughout history, righteous anger has played a crucial role in driving progress. Civil rights movements, labor reforms, and resistance against oppression have often been fueled by a collective sense of indignation and the refusal to accept injustice silently. Anger can sometimes provide the motivation we need to take action, pursue our objectives, and overcome obstacles in a positive way. While indifference, its opposite, reveals a passive surrender to circumstances, anger signals that something within us wants to live and make its presence known. It is an indication of our desire to assert ourselves, defend our values, and seek fulfillment. Psychological research suggests that suppressing anger excessively can lead to adverse effects such as increased stress, anxiety, and even physical ailments. Therefore, understanding how to channel anger constructively is crucial for maintaining both mental and physical health. The challenge that we all encounter is how to control our anger while avoiding its harmful inclination. In modern society, we are often conditioned to suppress our emotions to maintain social harmony, but this suppression can backfire, leading to passive-aggressive behavior, emotional repression, and eventual outbursts. Ancient philosophies such as Stoicism advocate for mastering one's emotions through rational reflection and self-discipline, emphasizing that while we cannot always control external events, we can control our reactions to them. Cognitive behavioral approaches in psychology echo this sentiment, suggesting that reframing our thoughts and practicing emotional regulation techniques can help us manage anger effectively. To navigate the complexities of anger, it is essential to recognize its underlying causes. Often, anger stems from unmet need, perceived injustices, or unresolved trauma. By addressing these root causes and developing healthy coping mechanisms, we can transform anger from a destructive force into a constructive one. Mindfulness practices, physical exercise, and creative outlets such as art and writing have been shown to be effective in channeling anger positively. Moreover, seeking professional help through therapy or counseling can provide valuable insights and strategies for managing anger in a productive manner. Ultimately, anger is a double-edged sword that requires careful handling. It has the potential to fuel our aspirations and drive us toward meaningful goals, but if left unchecked, it can consume us and those around us. By acknowledging its presence, understanding its origins, and finding healthy ways to express it, we can harness the power of anger to create positive change in our lives and the world around us. The journey of mastering anger is not about suppressing it entirely, but about cultivating the wisdom to use it wisely and constructively. This video's goal is to investigate how to accomplish it. First and foremost, we must comprehend the connection between anger and helplessness. In actuality, no social emotion is more prevalent than the sense of helplessness, being cornered, hounded, and trapped. This sensation of helplessness is deeply ingrained in the human experience, arising from various social, economic, and psychological pressures that shape our perception of control over our lives. The contrary is also true, even if Lord Acton was right when he said that total power corrupts utterly. Complete helplessness breeds complete corruption. When we believe that life is meaningless, when indifference keeps us in jobs that merely cover the expenses but leave our souls empty, when the overwhelming power of governments and businesses suffocates us, or when we get lost in a sea of people we can't relate to or influence, we begin to experience a profound disconnection from our sense of agency. This leads to a gradual accumulation of frustration and despair, often manifesting in anger. We become trapped in cycles of passivity and self-doubt, convincing ourselves that resistance is futile. First comes helplessness, then fury, and finally rage, the pervasive loss of a sense of personal significance, which is perceived as helplessness, is our unique issue at this time in history. Many people think that they shouldn't and can't have power, that they aren't even allowed to exert themselves, that they have nothing to say, and that the only way to deal with this is to use violence. This internalized helplessness can result in a vicious cycle where individuals feel trapped in their circumstances, unable to break free from the constraints imposed upon them by external forces. This sensation of helplessness that leads to fury can be evoked in us by social forces, life itself, and the existential difficulties we bear. We are thrust into a world that may be unfriendly, annoying, and unresponsive to our wishes from the moment of our birth. The process of adapting to these challenges requires resilience and a proactive approach to regaining a sense of control. However, for many, the overwhelming nature of these challenges leads to feelings of anger and frustration, which, if left unaddressed, can have far-reaching consequences. The human mind, when confronted with a lack of control, tends to react defensively. We might internalize the feeling of powerlessness and develop coping mechanisms that can either help us adapt or push us deeper into negative thought patterns. Societal structures often reinforce this sense of helplessness by discouraging critical thinking and promoting conformity. People are conditioned to believe that their actions are insignificant, which results in widespread apathy and disillusion. Understanding this dynamic is crucial for managing our emotions and finding productive ways to respond to feelings of helplessness. Developing a sense of purpose, setting achievable goals, and engaging in meaningful activities can help counteract feelings of powerlessness. Moreover, fostering supportive social connections and seeking professional guidance can provide valuable insights and strategies for overcoming these challenges. Recognizing that anger is not an enemy, but a signal that something needs to change, is the first step in transforming it into a positive force. One effective way to channel anger is through creativity and self-expression. Art, writing, music, and other forms of expression allow individuals to process their emotions constructively, giving voice to their frustrations and turning them into something tangible and meaningful. History has shown that some of the greatest works of art, literature, and social change were born out of periods of intense anger and struggle. By embracing creativity, we can reclaim our sense of agency and transform our emotions into something that benefits both ourselves and society. Another powerful approach is activism. When people come together with a shared purpose, their collective energy can create significant social change. Movements advocating for justice, equality, and human rights have often been driven by individuals who refuse to succumb to helplessness and instead channeled their anger into action. Engaging in community work, volunteering, and supporting causes that align with our values can provide a productive outlet for our emotion and help us reconnect with our sense of purpose. Ultimately, anger is not inherently negative. It is a natural human response to perceived injustice and can serve as a catalyst for positive transformation when managed appropriately. Instead of suppressing or denying our anger, we should strive to understand it, embrace it, and use it as a tool for growth and empowerment. If you're enjoying the content so far, leave a like to support the channel. And let me know in the comments, what do you think contributes most to the feeling of powerlessness in modern society? Fight the extinguishing light. Most of us are trained to suppress our anger, despite the fact that it is a normal and occasionally good reaction to helplessness. To preserve an illusion of altruism, we invent perplexing social rituals that conceal our resentment and rage. Society teaches us from an early age that expressing anger is inappropriate, that it is a sign of weakness or immaturity. This conditioning forces us to push our emotions deep inside, creating an internal pressure that can manifest in unhealthy ways. By doing this, we make ourselves psychologically unstable, brittle, and vulnerable to psychosomatic diseases, seemingly uncontrollable angry outbursts from the unconscious. Suppressed anger does not disappear. Instead, it festers and finds ways to emerge, often in the form of passive-aggressive behavior, chronic stress, or even physical ailments such as headaches and digestive issues. Finding healthy coping mechanisms for anger is crucial because we are prone to feeling helpless and angry. It is in this context that the concept of the daimonic becomes crucial. In ancient Greece, the term daimonic was used to refer to an external power, such as a ghost or a go-between for the gods and people. This idea was reconstructed by psychologist Rollo May in Contemporary Psychology, who defined it as any innate function that has the capacity to control the entire individual. Daimonic passions include lust for power, rage, wrath, love, and sex. These are powerful forces that drive human behavior and shape our interactions with the world around us. When properly understood and channeled, they can lead to growth and self-discovery. When ignored or repressed, they can wreak havoc on our mental and emotional well-being. They are strong, innate urges that behave romantically in an attempt to get fulfillment. They have the power to both uplift and demolish us because of this. Our culture tends to overlook the positive aspects of rage, despite the fact that the advantages of daimonic passions, like love and sex, are well known. Rage, when harnessed correctly, can serve as a powerful motivator, pushing us to overcome obstacles and challenge the status quo. Throughout history, individuals who have channeled their anger constructively have brought about significant social and personal transformation. Our culture expects us to suppress the majority of our anger, which also suppresses a large portion of our creativity. Not just artists or people with particular personality types need to be creative. Instead, it shows itself in every one of us whenever there are internal or external conflicts or instability in our life. Creativity is not just about artistic expression. It is about problem solving, innovation, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Anger can fuel this creativity by forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths and seek solutions that may not have been apparent before. Conflicts and disorder are signs that something needs to change, whether it be in our surroundings, our character, or our worldview. In the face of chaos, we respond proactively when we choose creativity over apathy and helplessness, changing our thoughts or influencing some part of the outside world. In this way, we overcome obstacles, find purpose in turmoil, and eventually rise beyond disorder. This proactive approach requires courage and self-awareness, but it is essential for personal growth and fulfillment. In the structure of subjective life, the creative process is a process of evolution, development, and change. Lack of creative expression in our life becomes one of the primary reasons for many of our personal issues, considering the role that creativity plays in converting chaos and conflict into order and purpose, as well as the sense of helplessness into power. Pablo Picasso once noted that all acts of creativity are really acts of destruction. This insight highlights the necessity of breaking down old patterns and beliefs to make way for new and more authentic ways of being. To make place for the new, we must first let go of the outdated, whether that be in the form of a stronger mental state or something of significant external value. How could you desire to be new if you hadn't first turned into ashes? You must wish to burn in your own flame. Friedrich Nietzsche mentioned this in reference to Zarathustra, emphasizing that transformation is an essential part of growth and renewal. In essence, destruction and creation go hand in hand, and it is through this cycle that we forge new identities and find deeper meaning in our existence. For this reason, Satan is portrayed by William Blake in The Marriage of Heaven and Hell as a representation of imagination, activity, and the will to achieve freedom. Any kind of profound and long-lasting creativity frequently requires anger, a demonic thirst for destruction. Developing and realizing one's potential always entails both positive and negative elements. It is through embracing the tension between these forces that true growth achieves. In order to develop new and unique forms of existence, it always entails upending the status quo, disrupting old patterns within oneself, and gradually letting go of what was internalized during childhood. Aggression or denial can be a part of any creative activity, whether it is directed at our inner patterns or the people around us. It is crucial to acknowledge rage as a normal reaction to helplessness and to comprehend the risks associated with repressing it. By facing our inner turmoil, we can harness it as a force for transformation rather than destruction. We can stop this emotion from unintentionally causing chaos in our lives and the world around us by accepting. Acceptance does not mean passive resignation, but rather a conscious effort to channel our anger in constructive ways. Whether through creative expression, activism, or personal development, acknowledging and working through our emotions allows us to build resilience and a deeper understanding of ourselves. We can utilize rage to fuel ourselves, increase our creativity, accomplish difficult goals, and change into more aggressive and determined people once we recognize and embrace its existence. However, rage has the potential to transform from a demonic passion into a demonic power with potentially disastrous outcomes if we continue to adhere to the cultural conditioning that causes us to suppress or dismiss it. Suppressed anger often finds destructive outlets, leading to self-sabotage, damaged relationships, and societal conflict. The key to mastering anger lies in understanding it as an integral part of our human experience. It is neither inherently good nor bad. It is a signal that something within us demands attention and resolution. Learning to navigate this powerful emotion requires self-awareness, reflection, and intentional action. Rather than fearing anger, we should view it as an opportunity for growth, a reminder of our passion and our desire for change. As we conclude this exploration, it is important to reflect on the key lessons we've uncovered. We have seen that anger is deeply connected to our sense of helplessness and our desire to reclaim control over our lives. We have learned that creativity is a powerful outlet for our emotions, and that embracing our demonic passions can lead to profound transformation. Most importantly, we have recognized that true growth comes from within, through the conscious acceptance and redirection of our inner forces. Either learn to coexist creatively with the demonic, or let it devour you. Our fate will be decided by this choice, therefore, let's choose it carefully. We have the power to shape our lives, to transform our anger into a catalyst for growth, and to find meaning even in the face of adversity. If you've enjoyed the content so far, don't forget to like the video. It really helps the channel to grow and reach more people. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe now to keep up with more content like this. What do you think we can do to channel our emotions more constructively? Leave your opinion in the comments.